Good day, everybody. We're back to another of our series in educational technology. And this time we're dealing with graphics. Graphics. What are graphics? Graphics, graphic, is a general term for two-dimensional illustrative representative materials that are specially designed to communicate a brief message to the viewer. A general term for two-dimensional illustrative representative materials that are specially designed to communicate a brief message. They are two-dimensional, they are abstract, they are abstract, they are highly simplified, they have no sound or motion, they vary in size ratio to the objects or events they represent, and they are flexible. Those are the characteristics of graphics. They're two-dimensional. And when we say something is two-dimensional, what is it? That means it has length and width. It is flat. It does not have depth. We can't feel around it and we can't feel inside it. Like a bottle, a cup, we can feel inside. But in this case, we can't feel around them. And that makes it two-dimensional. They have length, they have width. That means they have a long side, they have a wide side. Whether horizontally, vertically, but they have a long side and a wide side. So they are two-dimensional. What do we mean by being abstract? Usually when we refer to things that are abstract, we do those things that artists do that we can't really read any meaning to it. We say, it's abstract drawing. You're looking, you're not saying anything. But that's not what we mean by abstract in this case. By saying it's abstract, they're saying it's not the real thing. So whatever we have on graphics, they are not the real thing. They are only illustrative representations. They're using them as examples to stand for the real thing. We say graphics are highly simplified. Highly simplified. That is, they are made very easy. And why are they made very easy? Because they have very little information on them. The information only relates to what is required in that particular instance. Graphics do not have sound, so they cannot be heard. If they have sound, then they are not graphics. They don't have motion. They don't move. If they move, they are not graphics. We say they vary in size ratio to whatever they represent. That means they can be the same size, they can be bigger, and they can be smaller. If having flexibility in use means that we can use it at our convenience, at our pace, or at the pace of our viewers. So in doing that, whenever we hear flexibility making use of media, that's what it means. What do we use graphics for? In instruction. We use it to arouse and sustain interest. We use it to arouse and sustain interest. We use it to make information easier. That's what I mean by compressing. In compressing, we use it to make it smaller. In simplifying, we use it to make it easier. In expanding, we make what we are learning bigger for our learners to see. Or sometimes we use it to show things that are not normally seen with the human eyes, like the digestive system, the internal organs of the human body, or the solar system. We on it, so we can't see it. So things that we don't know, the invisible. We use it to emphasize visual cues. What are the uses of graphics in instruction. Use them to motivate. And when we are motivating, we are arousing a learner's interest, raising questions, sustaining interest. We use it to simplify instruction. We use it to make what we're teaching easier for our learners. We say we use it to compress information, use it to make it smaller, especially things that are too big to bring into the classroom, like the refinery. We can't bring the refinery into the classroom, we can't bring the world into the classroom. So we have things to make it smaller. In other cases, we use it to expand what? Information. Expand information means we use it to make things bigger for our learners. So we use it to picture the invisible, show hidden things. We use it to emphasize visual cues. Let our viewers or our learners see things in the environment or things that we don't usually normally take notice of. They use it to show relationships, connections between various things. So we have a map of the world as motivation, and the map of the world shows various things. We can use this map of the world in various ways. For instance, if we look at our map of the world, we can see that Africa is clustered, the southern part of uh, Europe is clustered, the middle belt is clustered. So we can use that as an example to raise questions. Why do people in Africa like traveling abroad? Or where are the places people in Africa travel to the most? Why do they like traveling to these places? Let's make reference to the map. Or why do we have so many economic problems in Africa? You can say that we have too many countries, too many borders. So people are not moving around freely, unlike places like Canada, US, where you have large mass of people in a particular region, a large mass of land, but not too many people in that place. So there's a temptation to go to these places that seem to give better opportunities. So we can use this map of the world to teach various things. Then we can also use a map of the world to raise questions. Raise questions. Ask questions that we want our learners to relate with. For instance, in teaching history, we can use the map to say, okay, why do people from Africa, why were they taken to the new world at that time, which was America, Canada, United States, and all that? To let the students look at the map and decide. We say we use graphics to simplify instruction, and in doing that, we have used a diagram of the human digestive system. There are so many things that are in the human body. If we have to put all the systems together, it's going to be very complicated. But then we use a simple diagram of the digestive system, showing only those things that we want. But in this next graphic, we have the earlier diagram of the digestive system. Then we have a clustered diagram of the digestive system that explains what each of those things are. So you can see the difference between having a simple graphic and a clustered graphic, which is difficult to understand or to read. We say we use our graphics to show the invisible. So we have a diagram of the solar system. The solar system comprises the sun and its 8 planets. Now, before we were told there are 9 planets, now we're told there are 8 planets. So, on the 8 planets, we don't usually see these things. We're on Earth, we don't see what the Earth looks like, and we don't usually see these other planets, even if we look up in the sky in the night. But this illustration makes it clearer for us, so we're using to show the invisible. Then we use a chart, graphics, to compress information. In this case, we have a map of the world on our computer. The world is very big, so we are compressing the information. Then we say use it to expand information. And I have a very huge mosquito on our system. If we had a mosquito this big, I don't think any of us will survive. But now we have a very big mosquito because we're expanding information for better understanding, for analysis, and so on. Use it to show visual cues, things people don't usually see. So in this case, it's used to like a cartoon illustrate things. We have the critics, people always criticize, very many people talk, but the doers, nobody. So it kind of tells us, cautions us when we start criticizing, that we should be doers rather than talkers or critics. So that draws our attention to what is in existence in the environment, mentally, and all that. And what are the graphics we have? We have different types of graphics. We have graphs, pictures, maps, charts, posters, cartoons, diagrams, drawings, sketches, paintings, and some others. So those are graphics. Remember that we have a full series on graphics. We're going to look at these individual graphics that are used in instruction. Thank you very much. Remember, view, comment, share, subscribe. If you don't comment, we don't have a way of knowing whether we satisfy you or not. Thank you very much.